Welcome into another episode of House Divided. Solo episode today. Got a decent amount to talk about, though. I know we didn't have a show last week, so I got to go over my U.S. Open picks, the Travelers picks from this past weekend, which didn't go so hot for me. NBA draft happened. We threw some props up. Stanley Cup ended last night. Avs won. I know Joe had a 2-unit play on them. He's bet them a few times in this series against Tampa. I think he's like 2-1 or 3-1 on those. I did update. I haven't posted a story or anything. I did update the spreadsheet for our tally of units year to date. Joe's, I think, down 7, 6.5, 7. Which is he's fought back from down 12. I'm after the Travelers, which I was down like 6 or 7 units. I'm up 35 and a half on the year with picks. But yeah, I guess I didn't bet anything on the Stanley Cup. Next week, maybe Joe will go into his picks, but a lot of it was in the Avs. I'll go into my picks for golf. Let me pull them up here. We did have our first head-to-head bet settled. The EJ Liddell, Joe put it back in the story, did not go in the first round. Was my number one player for our college basketball top 5 episode. So our first head-to-head bet did get settled. Have to mention that. All right, so I'll start with the good. U.S. Open. Oh, Jackson did have some picks as well for that. I'll do Jackson's first. He was on that week, so not last week, the week before. He had Rory across like the board, who obviously played very well. Rory top 10, Rory top 20, both hit. He had Tommy Fleetwood outright, which was a shot in the dark. I told him not to do a full unit on it. Did it anyway. Tommy Fleetwood stinks. That didn't hit. JT top 10 did not hit. But he did hit Patrick Rogers top 40, which is plus 150. So a good number on Patrick Rogers, who ended up, I think, 13th. And then anytime hole in one, which I believe Corey Connors hit that, which is, if you guys watch the pod, you know I'm a big Corey Connors guy. I bet him all the time. I had, let's see, for the Open, had a lot on Sam Burns, which was really my biggest loser of the tournament. I think he was in 4th after day 2 when they made the cuts, and then just completely choked the last day. On the first 2 days, I watched 2 holes of him. They just weren't showing him a lot, and he doubled both holes. I think he tripled one of the holes. He sculled it 50 yards past the green. It was absurd, so I stopped watching because I was jinxing him. But yeah, lost out on all my Sam Burns picks. I had 20-10 outright. Lost out on Shane Lowry 10 and 20. And lost out on Aaron Wise 20 and Sungjae Im 10. But hit on Zalatoris top 10 plus 270. Zalatoris top 20 plus 130. Cam Tringale top 20 plus 600. Aaron Wise top 40 plus 110. And Tringale top 40 plus 185. So I was up about 5 units for the Open. And then Travelers, I hit Brian Harmon is the only guy that I hit, who started out the worst out of all these guys. He was 3 over on day 1 and just completely fought back. Mito Pereira stunk. I think he was 6 over the first day. So lost him top 10, top 20. CT Pan top 40. That was one of the hits with Harmon. And then Seamus Power was my big play this weekend. He was 9 under going into the final day. I think, which 9 under, if he had just stayed even, that would have been top 10. And he ended up going like 4 over to drop like way down. So he kind of screwed me because I had him 5, 10, 20. Had Wise again. And yeah, Wise and Pereira and Burns all screwed me in that one too. So I ended up down 5 there. or 6 to bring me down to 35 on the year because I was at 41 and change before that tournament. We did have the biggest talking point. Yeah, Joe's had a few no-run first innings. A few Tuttle hit a 2 Avs bets on here, so he's probably up a few units for the guest standings, which I think now goes Grayson, Jackson, Brett as our top 3 guest bettors. And I don't even know if anyone's negative at this point. Maybe Pat because he only had like 1 or 2 picks, but I think we're all pretty good other than Joe. But yeah, so the draft, I only put out 2 props. Jeremy Sohan under 12, 3 units on that one. He's just like I guess the best way, if you didn't watch Baylor, you didn't watch college basketball, he's just like a Draymond Light, very like sneaky, not sneaky, just very athletic dude from England, I think. He doesn't score, doesn't really shoot at all, which is interesting. Wasn't like asked to. Like they had a lot of players like Matt Meyer, James Akinjo, Flagler, Adam Flagler. They had a lot of guys in that team. He didn't need to score. Great defender, great hustle player, rebounder, decent passer. And I talked to one of my friends before the draft, especially with the Spurs sitting at 9. That's like a prototypical Spurs player. So I already really liked him as a player. Spurs just seemed like the perfect fit. Under 12 was a great line. None of the books that I had, you could do like a prop builder for draft selections because I was going to try and do him under 10 just to get that 9 slot locked in, just for better odds. Probably would have done plus money at that. Couldn't find that. And then Shaden Sharp I took a shot at. Watched a lot of highlight videos. Obviously didn't play college basketball. Classed up and committed to Kentucky. Didn't end up playing. Played in some like weird leagues in high school, but looked like James Harden when he's playing. Like, interesting player. Loves the ball in his hand. Loves to dribble. 22:30 NASCAR. Yeah, I believe it's on tonight. What is that? 10:30? I think it's before that. Yeah, Shaden Sharp under 8. That was 1 unit on that at minus 110. So just a standard bet on that one. But as you guys know, Magic fan, so it was a big night for me. Let me pull up the recap of the draft. So the Magic got Paolo Banchero. It's kind of who I wanted. I'd been a Jabari guy all year. Like when we talked about our prior, I think Joe and I did like who we thought was gonna be the best player in the draft. I said Jabari Smith. That was probably like halfway through the year. He was just gross. He has the body type of KD. I just kind of got nervous going into the draft process just because he doesn't like dribble. He doesn't create his own offense. He's a great shooter, makes absurd shots. Like no one can really block his shot. He's 6'10", plus wingspan. Maybe the best shooter in the draft, which the Magic do need. But they just have no one on their team that's an alpha. Cole Anthony, I guess, but like he's more of like your spark plug, like Jamal Crawford type guy. I mean, obviously he could start. He did it this year, but the Magic were without Fultz and Jalen Suggs was kind of getting acclimated. But Paolo is just a straight alpha, Tatum-esque. That's kind of like who he's been comped to. Didn't really start shooting it too well till the end of the year. The tournament, he was on fire. I think he was like over 45% from 3. But just being able to like his ball handling, his ball moves, everything he can create his own offense. You get it to him on the wing, he can drive, he can shoot, he can do it all. He can pass on a drive. Doesn't have like blinders on, sees the floor. So I'm very happy with that. He'll play well with Mo Bamba if he does stay. Fits kind of with Wendell Carter as well. But like it's a wing league. That's was KD's tweet this weekend. He's just like you're running it through your wings. You watch the NBA Finals. Obviously, the Warriors have Steph Curry, but Draymond's running point forward. Jason Tatum's running point forward for the Celtics. Marcus Smart is a guard, was a true point guard in college, kind of plays a little bit of both in the NBA. Jaylen Brown's not a ball handler at all, but he was even playing the point a little bit. Can't dribble, but still doing it. Al Horford thought he was a point forward this finals. But I think Paolo truly is that, so that was pretty sweet. But yeah, biggest drop, Jaden Ivey somehow, I think that was Joe's pick for best player in the draft. I think when Joe and Brett were on was the episode we talked about it, and we all thought that Ivy was number 2. We had, I think it was, I don't know. I know I had Jabari 1, but I think maybe Brett and Joe both had Ivy 2 or 1 for them. Joe, I know Joe loves Johnny Davis, but Ivy, the Kings, I don't know what they're doing, passed up on Ivy to get Keegan Murray. I guess theoretically because they have De'Aaron Fox, but still, like, you don't want like a second guard. I know they have a few other like guards, but they're rumored to trade like all those players. Like they got rid of Bagley. I think they want to trade Hield. They got Sabonis. They're kind of just running. They got Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox. I guess theoretically they're going to play Keegan Murray at the 3. He can kind of handle the ball. He kind of his own thing. He's interesting size-wise because I think he's more of a 4. I think he's only like 6'7", 6'8", very athletic. So it might be a good pick. Fits well with what they have. It just like Ivy seemed to be the player everyone wanted and everyone thought was going to go for. But good for the Pistons, getting him to go with Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey. A lot of rumors they're going to get DeAndre Ayton somehow. So we'll see if that does happen. We'll see what it does cost them because I'm assuming it'll be in a sign and trade with the Suns. All these players that were rumored to get traded, nothing really came through. I know the Knicks dumped Kemba with their pick. Weird move. Looking like they're going to go try and get Jalen Brunson. There was a rumor out today that the Spurs were going to trade DeJounte Murray to the Hawks for not John Collins, which is like the player that they're supposedly moving on from. I know there's been some Ayton Collins talk. Doesn't really work with Capella. I don't see it. So I know there's rumors of Gobert to the Hawks, but I guess DeJounte Murray is going to be the guy right now for Gallinari, which is I don't really know what the Spurs are doing. Even if they get picks back, it's not like DeJounte Murray's 25. The pick, it wouldn't. They'll probably get their next year's first, but that's theoretically will be 25 at. 22 at best. Like the Hawks will be pretty good, and then they probably won't get one for a few years if they're smart, just to push it down the road. Once they got to pay Trae Young, got to pay Capella, all these guys. We'll see what does happen with John Collins. I can't imagine he stays there. I know OG Anunoby is supposedly on the move. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, both questionable from the Jazz. Malcolm Brogdon. I can't imagine. I guess Mike Conley's hard to move. We'll see if the Heat do something. They kind of probably want to add someone. Obviously, the Nets with KD and Kyrie. The Lakers with Westbrook. A lot of rumors that now if Kyrie gets bought out, he's going to sign like the vet min with the mid-level exception, like 6-7 mil with the Lakers. Interesting. Who else would be on the move? You got to think the Nuggets might be looking to do something. They do get Jamal Murray back. Michael Porter just gets hurt every year, so interesting to see what they do with him. You got to think Terrence Ross probably on the move. It's more of a Magic one for me, but trying to think of some of the other. The Warriors may try and move one of those young guys, Moses Moody, James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga. I don't know that they keep all 3 of them. It's just tough when you got the guys you do have. Got to re-sign Looney and try and keep 3 young guys that you're trying to develop. Interesting. Jeremy Grant did get moved to Portland, so that means they're likely keeping Lillard. Got Jeremy Grant. I know they want another player to pair with them. They're trying to get KD. I don't know why he would ever go to Portland. I doubt that would ever happen. Boston's looking for someone. That kind of seems like it could be a KD fit. Go with the young guys there. Try and win one. You got to think the Bucks are going to do something. They do get Middleton back, obviously. Probably would have made it to the finals from the East if they had him. Let's see what else happened in the top 10. Pacers get Ben Mathurin from Arizona. You guys know I was big on Arizona this year. Picked them to win the championship, and they sucked because, what's his name? Kerr got hurt. Ariza or whatever his name is. Dyson Daniels, interesting pick. Big point guard. Johnny Davis, another Big Ten guy. Obviously, Joe and I are both Big Ten guys, so we kind of root for, even if they're not on our teams, Keegan Murray, Jaden Ivey, Johnny Davis. Want these guys to do good. AJ Griffin falling to the Hawks is wild to me. Like, him going behind Ochai Agbaji is nuts. I don't see that at all. Like, AJ Griffin played 1 year. Paolo was the dominant player on that team. Griffin was kind of hurt on and off. They had Jeremy Roach. They had Trevor Keels. They had, Wendell Moore. They had all these guys. Griffin was kind of like the forgotten dude. But he can handle the ball. Like, he can create his own offense, and he's known for his shooting. He might be the best shooter in the draft as well. So that's interesting. He went all the way to 16. I guess there could be some injury concerns. They didn't see him do it in college. He didn't really have to. So, love that. Jiang, the guy the Knicks picked and then flipped to the Thunder. Love that pick. Jalen Williams, the Santa Clara dude, interesting. Interesting pick. Jalen Duren and Mark Williams both going. I don't love the Hornets trading Duren. I like him a lot more than Mark Williams, and they need a big man. That's like what their biggest need is. So I guess I just think Duren offensively has way, way, way more of a ceiling. So, I mean, Mark Williams can stretch it a little bit, so that's cool. But let's see what else happened. Dalen Terry, another Arizona guy, to the Bulls. Malachi Branham, another Big Ten guy, to the Spurs. Interesting, him getting picked 20 picks higher than E.J. Liddell. Christian Brown. Walker Kessler in the first round. Interesting. Don't know that I love that. It's weird they still show like all of these players on the team that drafted them. I think Walker Kessler went to the T-Wolves. Blake Wesley, Notre Dame guy, to the... I mean, I don't even know who picked him. I think it's the Spurs. Get Blake Wesley. He's okay. Wendell Moore going the first round. Interesting. I like the Warriors picking Patrick Baldwin, like a top 10 player, top 5 player in the recruiting class last year. Went to Milwaukee because his dad coached there. He wasn't great there, and then he got hurt. But I mean, that's just a high potential pick for the Warriors, and I think they got someone pretty cool in the second round. Peyton Watson, love him from UCLA, just like a defensive grinder type dude too. I think that's a great pick. I think the Thunder picked him. Did they keep that pick? Let's see. Oh, the Nuggets got it. Okay, I like that for the Nuggets. Round 2, the Magic, of course, picked someone from Michigan. They only pick people from the teams I hate, Duke and Michigan, so interesting for them. But Caleb Houston was a top 10, 15 prospect in the recruiting class too. Great shooter. Can't really... I don't want to say can't, but I never saw him do anything other than shoot. Like, he just kind of dribbled, put the ball on the floor once, and would shoot every time he touched it. Not too much down low, but he is like a big guy, like 6'9", I think. Max Christie, my Michigan State guy, going to the Lakers, their first pick of the draft, so that'll be interesting. Doesn't look ready to play in the NBA. He was great defensively at Michigan State. He has a great looking shot. Didn't really fall all that much, like maybe low 30s, like 31, 2%. But a young kid, very bouncy, obviously high potential. Just interesting for the Lakers. I would have thought they would have gone with like more of a veteran dude, like EJ Liddell, someone that could compete right away for a rotation spot. Like great defensive guy, great shooter. Um, but they went with the high ceiling. I wonder if he'll play early on. Would be cool to see the playoff team with LeBron and AD coming back, and potentially Kyrie. But yeah, EJ Liddell does go to the Pelicans at 41. Um, Golden State, yep, Golden State chip. Mike was saying it before. And their other pick, who was it in the second round that I liked that they got? Oh, none of these guys. Ryan Rollins. They got that pick from the Hawks, which is he's a Mac guy. Obviously, what I got Buffalo. I went to Buffalo, watched him play a decent amount. He's a bucket, so interesting. Like him being able to play, like he's not going to play right away, but him being able to learn under like Steph and Clay and these guys that are even Jordan Poole, like he could be a Jordan Poole type player. So very interesting. They got him. Musa Diabate going from Michigan too, another Big Ten guy. Bryce McGowan's in the second round, Big Ten guy. Isaiah Mobley going to the Cavs with Evan Mobley, obviously his brother. That was pretty cool. Anything else notable? Jabari Walker, who I actually do like, second to last pick from Colorado. Not this year, the season before, when Colorado had some of their other good players. He was a freshman. He strokes the ball. He was a great shooter. This year he had to shoot a lot more, so his like percentage went down, but he's still great looking shot. I don't know that he's going to be much more than a shooter, but cool player. Let's see. But yeah, obviously 2 for 2 on the draft props that we posted for a little under 4 units. So that was pretty cool. Anyone else notable that I didn't talk about? A lot of these guys from the G League, which is interesting. What's his face? Jaden Hardy, who was another top 10 recruit, didn't go until the second round. He was projected like top 15-ish, 20. Interesting player, like kind of Fultz-esque after the draft, where like he can't shoot at all, but he is a star like otherwise. So that's just how much shooting means. Trevor Keels, someone's taking the hype on him. Maybe he can figure out how to shoot again. I think he has a good shot, and he's a big dude, so he looks like a football player. So if he can get his shot down, I think that's a good pick. Who did he go to? The Knicks, or did they trade that? It doesn't show a trade, so I'm gonna say he's still in the Knicks. But that was a nice pick. Yeah, some of the UConn guys getting picked. J.D. Davison. Did not think he would get drafted, but good for him. I like Alabama. Liked watching him. And Malachi Branham, one of the picks I really liked going late to the Spurs. I think he kind of came out at the end of the year, Big Ten tournament, and when EJ Liddell was down for a little bit, creating his own offense, great shot, a lot of like elbow fade, like Kawhi type shots that he was hitting. So that was kind of rose his stock, like just being able to hit some of these shots that none of these other guys can do. But yeah, really like the Spurs draft, Sohan and Branham. They get anyone, Blake Wesley. Kind of went with a high potential draft. Hopefully Pop can develop those guys on his way out, get the next era, especially if DeJounte Murray's on the outs. They do have a few other guys, but no one. Let me look up the Spurs roster. Oh yeah, I got to hit on that too. Spurs. So yeah, the Spurs, the potential trade, DeJounte Murray for Danilo Gallinari and 2 first-rounders. That's such a weird trade. I mean, he must be an expiring contract, so there's no way you're taking that on for nothing. So yeah, they got Branham. Keldon Johnson, only 22. That's a nice player. Trey Jones. Portal, okay, that's a decent player for what you're paying him. Josh Richardson's whatever. Lonnie Walker, Devin Vassell. So they got Josh Primo. They got a lot of young guys. If they trade Dejounte Murray, Keita Bates-Diop, they've really got all guys that are like 22 and under. And then like Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott. So that'll be a pretty sweet a young team. But yeah, I guess that's it on the draft. But again, like I said, the draft, NBA, NFL, those are kind of my sweet spots. Up 14 units on the NFL draft, up 4-ish on the NBA draft. So we got almost 20 units on just those two alone. You can't really bet on the MLB or the NHL draft, or else I would. But yeah, hopefully there was barely the props for the NBA draft were like in and out all day. Like there was some that where you could bet like which player would get drafted higher, and there was over under on positions, but it was only like 15 players. That's why I kind of only got limited to those 2 picks. But hopefully we'll get some more next year. But yeah, we have our. I know I said I was gonna have Connor Tuttle on, our hockey guy, our horse racing guy. He is. I wanted to save him for this. We're gonna have our next challenge through the podcast for a giveaway. It is for the Open, formerly the British Open, the Open Championship. I think it's the second week of July, so probably not next week, but the Monday after that we'll have him on, because that'll be before track season, before obviously the Open. We'll go over the details of that. I'll post it on the Instagram. We'll probably do a similar type thing. I kind of want to get more maybe I'll do like a DraftKings thing where you got to pick with the monetary values, because I know some people are annoyed that people just pick the 3 favorites for the tournament. It didn't really end up mattering. I think the people that had the highest consensus of picks didn't pan out. But we'll probably do, so maybe like you'll have 5 or 6 golfers, but your like average money value has to be like $6.5K, when like someone like Rory, who's hot right now, or Scotty Scheffler is going to cost you like 12. So you pick those guys. You got to pick some shitty guys too. So we might do it on like a DraftKings FanDuel platform and just do a guest contest where it's like you don't put money in, or maybe we'll put like $5 in, and then the winner will get the money and gift from the pod. But we'll put it on Instagram, and maybe we'll take some questions on what you'd want in the giveaway. I know last time we said it would just be like whatever kind of golf accessory you wanted. We ended up getting, I think Drew got some hats from it, so we'll do something similar to that. But for the British Open, I don't know if the live golfers are approved for that yet, so we will have to see. Obviously, I think Matt Wolff went there today, but he stinks. Brooks went there last week. The rumors of Morikawa, which he's denied. Rumors of some of these other guys making the switch. It's pretty much Brooks and DJ are the two. Patrick Reed, Bryson, those are like the biggest guys, even though Reed and Bryson are kind of stink right now, but so does Brooks, so does DJ. But yeah, those are some of the bigger names. So let's see if I got anything else to wrap up with. No, we haven't really made any other picks on there yet. It's a tough time with kind of the lull of the summer with sports. That's why I'm trying to do some more horse racing once we get Connor on here. The track opens, I think, the weekend of the 15th, I want to say 15th or 16th, 17th, 18th. I think that's the first weekend of the track. So we'll do some content there when we're at the races, betting a little bit, maybe get Connor to give a little breakdown of what he looks for in horses and kind of the bets that he's playing. He's more of like a pick 5 guy, mixing in some other horses. But yeah, we'll post the giveaway. Ask what you guys want to receive. If you win the giveaway, we'll kind of crowdsource all that just to get you guys a little more involved for it. So follow us on the Instagram. I believe the handle is House Divided IGTV. Yep. Public on there, so you'll see like all the stuff that we've posted. But yeah, give us a follow on there. Obviously, when we post the stories, everything to get your feedback, answer on there. But yeah, I guess that kind of wraps it up for today. But yeah, we'll be back next week, probably the pre-taped episode, just because it's on the 4th, or we might skip it. I know I'll be busy that night, so I'll see if I can pre-tape something for you guys. But we'll figure something out. But yeah, keep an eye out for that post, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.
Make it last for